presentation of TFNN. The Tom O'Brien Show is produced every business day. Tom takes your phone calls toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Let's go to Eddie in Boca Raton. Hey, Eddie, what's going on?
Hey, Tom. How are you, man?
I'm doing great, man. Yourself?
Good. It is a treasure to have TFNN every hour during the trading day, to be there to help you, to guide you, and even to give you some peace of mind, or like that somebody else is there with you while you're trading this crazy market, either up or down.
Well, listen, we appreciate you growling and prowling with us out here, because we wouldn't be out here, folks, if we didn't have all you guys, gals, tigers and tigresses as clients. And, you know, the market teaches you every single day, man.
Now, Tom O'Brien.
What's going on, everyone? This is Jacob Shoup filling in for Tom O'Brien. I actually just spoke to him earlier. He is doing well. He's going to be back Monday. We're looking forward to having him back on. Let's take a look at what we got going on. Finishing off this kind of crazy pivot of a week. If you listened to my interview with Tim Ord yesterday, he brought up this interesting fact. Now, one of the things that I'm always concerned with, like seeing coming off of lows with high volume, is kind of contracting volume on the way back up. Over the past few sessions, while it's still lower, right, while the volume's still lower than the low, what Tim Ord was saying essentially is that, and you should check out this interview if you haven't, right? It's on our YouTube channel, Tiger Financial News Network. Go check out that video. And he was saying that after it was about 6 sessions, right, it has this momentum to continue to go higher, and that's the general sentiment. So he's pretty bullish on that as well. We're trading up currently at 0.22%. The SPY up 0.24% as well. The Russell futures trading up about 0.33. The NQ's up 0.15. The composite up 0.26%. And the Dow futures and the Dow Jones itself roughly up about 0.36% as it is. Gold had a pretty solid day on some decent volume as well so far, trading at its high right now of 2,542. Very good for that. Silver trading up 1.91% at $28.96 on the contract. And then copper trading at $4.15. Now, crude is coming down a little bit. Again, we have a ton of stockpiles. And, I mean, what else can you say, right? You have lessening demand in China going on. They were dealing with some things with deflation. They kind of bounced back, and now it seems like they're contracting a bit. If that happens in China, you also run the risk, you know, not only of these kind of lower prices here in energy, but also designer brands, right? They're a major consumer of designer brands there. Now, this could be bullish for gold in a sense, where people still buy gold no matter what economic issues going on in China. And that is a strengthening zeitgeist, even among younger people. So you can see what happens even within deflation or in inflation, people are buying gold there. Tesla up 0.87%, Steel Dynamics faltering a little bit down at 1.36%. Not as fun of a stock as it used to be to play, because it's just not really doing much except going down. The dollar trading in its lower area at 102.48, even with some of the weird housing data, with the new starts. People are still expecting okay economics to the point that we will have an interest rate cut. You have the Q's up 0.17%, Google doing okay, Meta doing okay, Disney almost back up at 90. Then Lucid off 2.04%. You know, we could talk about Rivian as well. They're off a little bit. Now, I was able to profit from where I got in and got out. And, you know, I still had a few shares, right? I was just kind of offloading when we went to pretty high highs recently. They're coming down a little bit. They had a major sell-off today, off about 4.18%. And what's occurring with that, if I can pull it up, is that they are missing parts. They're having to halt the development of, there we go, of the Amazon delivery vans, right? Halt the production on it. So let's break into this a little bit. Obviously, that immediately sounds pretty bad. Amazon has a massive holding. Is a massive part of the revenue. That was like 19% of Rivian's revenue last year. They have 100,000 electric delivery vans to be deployed by 2030. These things look slick too. They're all in the areas that I hang out neighborhood-wise. And they're very gorgeous, and they're designed really just for that. Where you see some of the maybe Mercedes Sprinter vans are obviously great, but those are kind of general use vehicles. Where Rivian, what they're designing for Amazon is very particular for Amazon delivery drivers. Amazon also has a massive stake at 16%. So what happened is that they're temporarily suspending production of its commercial delivery vans used by retail giant Amazon due to a shortage of parts. Shares of Rivian were down 5%. Yeah, where we're at. Production halt is the latest in a series of supply chain challenges for Rivian. So they didn't disclose any information about the specific part, but they said that it's really not going to be a big deal, and they're still going to be able to deliver what they intend to deliver on time. So, this has had kind of a pattern in recent time after hitting the all-time highs of just kind of going down. I do think that any kind of movement up in this stock, so they haven't, what's weird about this one is it hasn't responded to other players in that industry going up, right? Which is a little bit worrisome if you're a bag holder right now. You're getting some days where Tesla would go up and Lucid would go up, and by extent Rivian and everyone else would kind of be moving up as well because it was more of a sector play, right? Well, you've had obviously Tesla getting killed a little bit, but they're up right now. Lucid had been up. Recently, they're down today. And Rivian was still, moving sideways. You had one day where you were up, but that was given back instantly. So it's a little hard to say right now. If you're in it, obviously, probably hold, right? I mean, that's what I would do, but I think it's a due diligence thing. But this is going to be an earnings thing. So if their forward guidance is good and they square everything away for profitability by Q4, I do think the stock probably has a nice way to go. I'm seeing more and more still. I know I've said that every time that I talk about it, but I continue to see more Rivians on the road. So they are producing and they are releasing and people are buying. And I spoke to some guy the other day who had one. He was coming into one of the cafes that I spend time at. And, I asked him about it and he wouldn't stop talking about it. That's how much he liked the thing. Earnings next week. You have Palo Alto, which is very interesting. Let's pull that up real quick. I believe that's the ticker. Yeah, so off a little bit right now. A lot of people were seeing potential increase for this stock, especially in light of the CrowdStrike failure. But what I think happens is that, and you can see that's almost like an inverse chart in a way, right? At least around this area. I think Palo Alto will have probably some good reports. I still think CrowdStrike is dominant, right? These guys are right at that initial access on the computer, and nobody really wants to have to go and get a new suite of products and learn how to use it. It's just not how things kind of work in that realm. Folks, stay right there. We'll be right back.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstadt's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstadt releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
The stock market is a delicate interconnecting web of commodities, equities, and trader psychology. When one string of the web is pulled, it has a ripple effect across the broader market. This is where opportunity lies. But how are you to gather all of this information into one cohesive model when you're already spending your energy looking for any possible trade opportunities? Luckily, you don't have to worry about that, as Tom O'Brien has brought all important market news to you in one single newsletter, Market Insights. Market Insights provides a daily overview of what's happening in the indexes, bonds, gold, and more. Follow along with Tom daily as he analyzes the components that affect the overall movement of the stock market, giving insight into how each one plays either a bullish or bearish role. Tom also analyzes specific equities that he believes has the potential to make huge returns, and his track record proves his analysis right. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Don't let the market leave you in the dust.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to most people. They think it's too volatile and risky. Most people aren't going to take the time to educate themselves on how to do it right. But you're not most people, are you? At TFNN, you'll get the guidance you need to refine your strategies and techniques to invest like a pro. Because you'll be a pro. All TFNN subscriptions, books, software, and courses are available at TFNN.com. And I'm even going to tell you how to get them for less. Use TFNN's Tiger Dollars and you'll get up to a 20% bonus on your purchase. And once you apply them to your account, Tiger Dollars are automatically used for all future or recurring charges. Tiger Dollars also never expire, are fully transferable, and are a great way to add savings to your newsletters or services. Become the investor you were born to be at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Welcome back, folks. Jacob Shoup filling in for Tom O'Brien. Before we went to the break, we were talking about what earnings are probably going to be interesting next week. I was talking about Palo Alto. I still like CrowdStrike and Palo kind of overall. I don't think anyone's coming in between this. Lowe's is coming, so obviously Home Depot had some weird stuff going on. People just aren't spending as much, or they haven't been the past quarter. They're coming out with their stuff Tuesday night. I think, this tends to be a little bit cheaper, right? People to go to. A lot of the guys that I know, this is a lot of them who are subcontractors or just do whatever. I mean, they're always going to Lowe's, and it's usually because they say Home Depot's too expensive. So they might have some interesting stuff. It might just not be as bad as things with Home Depot were. And then Toll Brothers as well on Tuesday. Now, you had some weird data for July. Let's see if I can pull that up. And the new starts in housing were low. So give me 1 second. Yeah, so U.S. building permits fell 4% in July, signaling a potential slowdown in future residential construction activity. Now, this is weird itself, too, for any future lookout on greater rate cuts. Yeah, like, I think speaking with Costa or someone on Tuesday, and they brought, man, it wasn't his name. I forget your name, brother. Sorry about that. But he's like kind of, I think he correctly said is the Fed kind of cornered themselves into, a 25 basis point cut for September. Like if they don't do that, I think bad things end up happening in the market at that point. But you even have guys from like Goldman Sachs right now talking, and this is what we were kind of saying as well. It's like, how much more do you get after that, right? I mean, are we pricing in too many rate cuts? I mean, what happens? You have lower building permits now, right? So you're going to have less housing over a longer term. I mean, this obviously is going to contribute to CPI, right? So let's talk a little bit more. Housing starts dropped sharply by 16% year over year. Despite fewer starts, the completions were rising, which is a positive sign. Multifamily units saw the largest decline in permits and starts, and the rising interest rates and economic uncertainty are pressuring the U.S. housing market. There's a lot of building going on in St. Pete as well. So I don't know, how this sets up for Toll Brothers for this past quarter that we're reporting on, but it might be something to look forward to going forward and be a little bit considerate about. You have Target as well, and then Kava too. Let's talk about Kava. Analysts are expecting this to report actually a year-over-year decline in earnings on higher revenue. Now, the way that this plays out, right? This is a massive expansion play. It has been in the past, right? You're obviously going to get some slowdowns with the contraction of the economy and also just kind of building out in a major way. What is unique about Kava? This is one way I'm looking at it. And I haven't made a decision at all if I want to play earnings on this. But one of the things that we've noticed is, even for like fashion brands, now they've been faltering a little bit, like higher end fashion brands or higher end anything has been doing relatively well, right? And that's because people with more money tend not to get squeezed as hard with all this kind of downward pressure in the economy, right? With like higher rates, the consumer is still very strong. And obviously people with higher income continue to consume, even though we've seen, contractions in some areas on that. Now, Kava is super interesting because it tends to be around this more like upper middle class young person area. These guys still eat all the time, even if it's more expensive. You're not getting this contraction from lower income areas, like you're seeing in McDonald's and even Chipotle to some certain extent, right? So Kava is an interesting play. I mean, you're seeing, a 1.68, low put call ratio here. Interesting. Something to consider. Those numbers are coming out on Thursday. So that'll be kind of neat to see. And then another big blowout that's happening today, and this is one I would recommend taking some caution with, is this guy. Okay, so AST Space Mobile, big move up. What the heck is happening with that? Okay, so these guys got to deal with AT&T and Verizon, right, to start doing these kind of satellite communications. Let's see right here. They're about to do their first commercial launch, which everyone is saying you're super hyper bullish about regarding this, and that makes sense, right? Now, you have a massive issue with Starlink, okay? And this is what I've been seeing a lot of conversation around. Now, first, I want to say, I think this is a lot of volume, and it's done on meme things, right? I mean, they definitely have deals with AT&T and Verizon. This is totally going to, be, I would say, dominant, especially if it continues to get that kind of funding, to kind of host their signals. I still get always suspect when I see these meme stocks take off, and this is a bona fide meme stock, right? We're not just saying that like in the random financial journalist sense. I mean, people on Wall Street Bets are moving this thing in a major way, and we know that kind of bigger money watches that sometimes and can kind of get in to do a rug pull. I do expect maybe a momentary pullback in this over some time because they just haven't really done anything yet. That's not to say that they won't in the future, but they just haven't, right? And you've been seeing other things in that same vein as well. And this is what I'm saying, like when it gets kind of weird, right? You have this other stock, okay, Rocket Laboratory, it's going to be moving this stuff. This is up 16.47% today, okay? And it's like, really, why, It's like, but that's what happens in these kind of meme environments, okay? So I was talking with some people about this, and they were saying, well, what about Starlink, okay? And so this is a truth. Starlink has a bunch of satellites up there, and they want to start competing in this way. But you have two major issues with that when you're going against ASTS regarding that, okay? First thing is Starlink actually can't hold the energy needed, right? So the AT&T is 700 megahertz, Verizon is 850 megahertz. Starlink doesn't support that currently, okay? And Starlink's Verizon and AT&T are already going with ASTS. I believe Starlink is doing something with T-Mobile though, so that's important. But now you're also having AT&T and Verizon, and this is just coming out today, are asking the FCC to reject the SpaceX plan for cellular Starlink. And of course, AT&T and Verizon are massive and have been dealing with FCC for a very long time. And SpaceX, particularly the Starlink, is a very new entrant. But it'll be interesting to see if Musk can shake something out with that. So it's saying SpaceX proposal to ensure its cellular Starlink system offers robust coverage to users is facing opposition from AT&T and Verizon over concerns it'll cause interference on their network. It says specifically AT&T's technical analysis shows that SpaceX's proposal would cause an 18% average reduction in network downlink throughput. Okay, so if that's true, I don't know how you necessarily test that in live time, but you run a risk that Starlink gets knocked out from this, right? Maybe you have some issues with T-Mobile stock. And then ASTS will probably be bolstered in that circumstance. To see if there's anything else that's any kind of, not really, I think, in the rest of this. But it's interesting. Keep in mind, I think when you run up this high, especially to all-time highs on a stock that hasn't necessarily done anything yet, you do get pullbacks sometimes. It's not to say the stock isn't cool for the long term, what the company is doing isn't going to be viable, but I see this with meme stocks sometimes. So, be cautious. Folks, stay right there. We'll be right back.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
The consistency you're looking for is closer than you think. 1 or 2 adjustments are usually all you need to change your equity curve from red to green and keep it there. Come join Larry Pesavento live to learn what separates the winners from the losers. Join Larry Pesavento on the 2nd and 4th Friday of every month for 3 hours of live trading from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Time, where Larry will show you the market setting up and, most important of all, the state of mind of a winning trader. By watching Larry trade, you'll learn the Fibonacci levels, you'll learn how to apply A to B to C to D trading patterns, you'll learn trade management, pattern recognition, and much more. Join Larry Pesavento Friday, July 12th and Friday, July 26th, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern Time for 3 hours of live trading. For this month only, use promo code LarryJuly24 at checkout to save $50 on your first month's subscription. For all the information and to reserve your spot today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This portion of the Tom O'Brien Show is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Welcome back, folks. Jacob Shoup filling in for Tom O'Brien. This is, of course, the Tom O'Brien Show. Now, we had someone on the YouTube channel, like I say that like I'm not like 28. We had someone on YouTube ask about GDX, in particular what Tom thinks of GDX. So I put out the tiger signal, and Tom did respond. He's looking at a dollar movement down near 99, so moving into the lower area of its trading range, and certainly a GDX hold as it stands now, at least over the weekend. The question was, let me get that so I don't mess it up. I like the GDX price movement. However, the light volume making me waffle. Jacob asked Tom, do we hold GDX over the weekend? And that is what Tom said. Now, to finish up some conversation a little bit with ASTS, and I'm going to make it super, super quick. You know, I'll say as well, this arena is extraordinarily expensive, okay? And the question is, I'm looking at this on a short term right now. Yeah, I mean, maybe it is the case that long-term ASTS really nails it, right? And they can put these satellites out, and then they at some point can become profitable, right? Very low margin business and everything. These guys are like starting up almost in a sense, right? I mean, they're pre-earnings. So, you know, you run a massive risk, maybe let's say on the long term of like dilution. I think in the short term, you run a risk of this thing coming really back down to some area and chilling out. I don't see it, you know, chilling right around this area for super long, right? And that's just usually how some of these companies work anyway. Now, let's talk about some other big news that happened. And this has a stock thing to talk about with it. And that is monkeypox. Okay, so the WHO listed a big public health emergency. You're now seeing it in Sweden. Okay, you're seeing it in Denmark, which I don't think is helping Sweden's border case with Denmark at all. I think it was in Sweden first, and now it is there. So you have BAVA. Okay, this is on the Danish stock exchange. Is this right? Yes, I believe so. One moment. Yeah. So Bavarian Nordic. I don't think we have it on right here. But so Bavarian Nordic is moving up pretty high today. And let me get the exact numbers for you. So let's see. BAVA said they can fulfill 2 million of the doses needed. The CDC says they need 10 million vaccines by the end of the year. BAVA can only do 2 million. 80% needs to come from somewhere else. So a stock that has popped up pretty significantly today is Emergent Biosolutions. These guys also have Narcan and all that kind of stuff. So you're up 23.44% because, I mean, initially it was BAVA that was getting this movement up, and then they're like, hey, wait a minute, this isn't going to fill the whole thing, and you have Emergent Biosolution running here, okay? Now, what's unique about this strain of the monkeypox, as they're saying, is the ones in the past were clade 2, okay? So that's only passed in very close situations with people, right? Clade 1, which is what's occurring now, can become transmitted over, you know, things that these people were holding, blankets, clothes, these kind of ideas, right? So the idea is that it is more transmissible, right? The idea is not a lot of people like always get it because it is hard to pass on, but the fatalities can be somewhat high on it. Now that changes, of course, as it becomes more transmissible, the virulence goes down, but regardless, you could see something moving quickly through here, and that's why EBS is popping pretty strong today. Now, with the emergence of Clade 1, right, again, you're going to see more people getting this, and it's going to be a little bit more dangerous, okay? So this might be something to take a look at as well if you're interested in kind of, you know, buying on this news and everything. I thought it was very interesting because that's one of the major questions, right? Like, what do you do in this circumstance? So EBS is trading up 1068 right now, up 23.35%. A lot of stuff moving on. I'm serious. Costco as well. Let's talk about this guy. Still probably selling a bunch of gold, right? So let's talk about this one more time. Maybe now running at 100 million to 200 million a month, which is a rapid acceleration since bullion hit the warehouse club in the late summer of 2023. Gold's obviously only going up as it stands now. Now, this is a little bit of an older article, okay, some older data, but fact remains, people still buy the gold out there, and we're buying at a higher spot price as well. Costco is selling the 1-ounce bars made of nearly pure 24-karat gold. While the price is not disclosed to non-members, it's estimated that product generally sells for about 2% above the spot price, which as of Tuesday morning was around, so this is, like I said, older data. Man, 2,357. We're trading now at 2,543. And then a little bit months after this, right? I mean, you had that Ford contract trading in the mid 2,400s. So, these guys might be getting some pretty good money coming in for Costco as a whole. Now, they've had a lot of stuff going on. They're tightening down on card sharing, which is only going to be good for them going forward. You even saw that with Netflix in a way. So pretty neat kind of stuff here. So watch out for Costco going forward as well. Let's talk a little bit about Apple. Up 0.59%. That is definitely a solidified move if I've ever seen one. So they're pushing ahead. They have this tabletop robot, and this is to get some more money and everything. So they're seeking new sources of revenue. It's moving forward with development of a pricey tabletop home device that combines an iPad-like display with a robotic limb. I don't know what I would ever use something like that for, but very interesting. The company now has a team of several hundred people working on the device, which uses a thin robotic arm to move around a large screen. According to people with the knowledge of the matter, the product, which relies on actuators to tilt the display up and down and make it spin 360 degrees, would offer a twist on it. See, this is the kind of stuff that wigs me out with tech companies, especially in areas or in eras where, people are spending less in some, obviously we had good consumer data, right? Last stuff come out. But I still think a lot of people are struggling in some capacity, right? And they're releasing stuff like this. And I have no idea what the need for that is going to be. So their industrial team has been exploring tabletop robotic concepts for years. The marketing group has assumed that consumers wouldn't be willing to pay for such a product, which I'm sure will be extraordinarily expensive. I guess they're going to continue to go on with it. But in my opinion, that seems like a really weird route to try to get into right now. Fascinating. Up 0.54% as it stands. No, we're in another break. Okay, stay right there. We'll be right back.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors. For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den, hosted at Discord. TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Tom O'Brien.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Jacob Shoup filling in for Tom O'Brien. This is the Tom O'Brien Show. I'm trying to look at the temperature outside, but I can't. It's not pulling up. The point is that we're having a cold front coming through in Florida, which is unbelievably nice. I think we're like in the low 70s or something like that on Saturday, which is going to be fantastic. But that doesn't change the fact that we've had a insanely brutal summer, and a lot of other places have had very, very high temperatures as well. And so this brings me into the next realm of conversation, which is about utilities. Okay, so this is from pretty good survey, right? So this is from Power Setter, okay, which is a survey by energy consumption. So according to a recent survey, 1 in 3 U.S. households is spending less on groceries because of sky-high utility bills. Extreme heat is driving higher energy consumption. This is Power Setter CEO Mark Fagan. This is talking with Fortune. Households are more likely to turn up the AC amid raging heat wave, which increases their energy consumption. And I could, even from my own experience, obviously we all do that, right? Let's see. While estimates vary, the National Energy Assistance Directors Association said that the average U.S. electric bill will likely reach $719 between June and September. That's a nearly 8% increase compared to 2023. NETA Executive Director Mark Wolf warned Americans that they should expect higher bills. It's insane, okay? Let's see here. Consumer prices have risen a whopping 20.8%. The reason why I bring that up is because you've also had some volatility in natural gas, okay? Now, this is from May, and you've had a nice downward move and then some volatility again, and why does it matter, right? And it's because this company right here, okay? Duke Energy. These guys supply the power to the entire area that I live in, right? They have a really, really strong foothold in it, okay? I believe that this is it's interesting to look into. Now, I have a little bit of a bone to pick with these guys, right? Because my energy costs raised something like 20%. I got an email for it, and I was like, what the heck is going on? This is before the summertime. And what they were referencing was natural gas volatility. And at that time, I was like, what are you talking about? I mean, you've had a low natural gas contract for a long time, and they were referencing something that happened in 2021. And I'm like, wow. So you're getting this lag a little bit, right? Before they start adding into these high prices because of volatility. Well, we've been seeing volatility recently in natural gas. We've been having more people use higher amounts of energy to stay cooler. I think if you live in the area, for sure, check this out, right? Because at least you can get a dividend from them, and so you don't feel like you're giving them, large portions of your paycheck to keep your house running. But this is interesting. I think a lot of these energy companies, I know we've been talking about it as well. You have lower gas and everything, more like output, and people are just talking about diesel in the YouTube chat. We have better production of that. This is very true, and Duke definitely uses diesel, and other energy companies use diesel as well, but natural gas is also very much used, so much so that they used it as a reason to raise the bills for everyone. So very interesting. Again, due diligence, check this kind of stuff out. Duke Energy trading at 112.38 as it stays now. Let's move on and talk a little bit about Bayer. So their shares soared. Let's see here. Let's get off that. Their shares jumped 11%. This was after a key U.S. legal win against Roundup cancer claims. Pretty interesting. Bayer shares jumped in morning trade as the German life sciences company said it scored a legal victory in its suit over claims that exposure to its popular Roundup weed killer led to cancer. The stock was up 11% at 3 p.m. Of course, this is a pretty dominant talking point in the cultural conversation, without a doubt. The company on Thursday announced that the Third U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in Philadelphia found in favor against plaintiff David Schaffner's claim alleging that Monsanto, which Bayer acquired in 2018, violated state law by failing to add a cancer warning to Roundup. Schaffner was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's type of cancer. Yep. He and his wife sued Monsanto. And yeah. There's been a lot of conflict for Bayer around this, without a doubt. They have 165,000 charges are brought against the product in the U.S. of which roughly 54,000 reportedly remain as of August, and it's 10.9 billion in payouts had to do, or rather settlements. Quite nuts, but that is up on winning against that for sure, which is pretty nice if you're looking to get some access into the company. All right, talk a little bit about, this is some more AI kind of discussion, right? Looking at AMAT. And this is a really nice move on some pretty high volume as well, right? So you kind of tested that gap down around this area. Let's say the high of this big volume bar shot through it. And now we're safely sitting above that level, some pretty high volume. Now we're off a little bit today at 248. But let's talk about it because they had their third quarter financials. So the third quarter fiscal 2024 non-GAAP earnings were $2.12 a share, which was better than most of the other estimates by a factor of about 5% here. 5.5%. Moreover, the figure improved 12% from a year ago. Net revenues of $6.78 billion were up 5% from a year ago. These guys are doing chips essentially, right? Strong momentum in the display and adjacent markets and applied global services segment was positive. The semiconductor system segment enhanced performance, contributed to the results. And AMAT also experienced solid momentum across the United States, Japan, Korea, China, and Southeast Asia. And these guys aren't even at an all-time high right now, which is cool, right? A little bit off their lows here, but that's pretty solid, especially with so many other semiconductor companies being essentially near all-time highs, right? I mean, you've seen some faltering a little bit. Obviously, you have NVIDIA earnings coming out and stuff like that. What is NVIDIA trading at right now? Yeah, so I mean closer, right? Like off from 140.76, trading at 124.3. I think you still have a lot of bullish sentiment surrounding them. So one of the bad things looking forward for Applied Materials was weak momentum in Taiwan and Europe. Semiconductor Systems generated revenues worth $4.92 billion, which contributed 72.7% of its net revenues, reflecting growth of 5.3%. So again, it's another thing to keep in mind. If you get some faltering in the semiconductor segment, AMAT gets hit pretty hard, okay? AGS reported revenues of $1.58 billion, that's just 23.3%, which is up 7.9% as well. And the revenues from display and adjacent markets were $251 million, and that's still an upward movement in that sector as well. Let's see. The revenues are mainly coming from America. We'll take a look at Palantir here. No big news on them, but I think the stock is starting to kind of wake up a little bit. It's a shame that some of the volume activity was kind of around these major drops, right? But it doesn't have the trend moving yet, right? You still have this one day here that was red. You're about to get 4 sessions in green, and you get this kind of move down a little bit. Still at 32.04. I believe this should be. Yeah, I mean, this is at least yearly pretty high. go back. That's the give you all-time high of $45. So we're re-approaching that. And honestly, on decent news, right, of wide-scale acquisition and obviously working with Microsoft. Well, folks, stay right there. We'll be right back.
The stock market is a delicate, interconnecting web of commodities, equities, and trader psychology. When one string of the web is pulled, it has a ripple effect across the broader market. This is where opportunity lies. But how are you to gather all of this information into one cohesive model when you're already spending your energy looking for any possible trade opportunities? Luckily, you don't have to worry about that, as Tom O'Brien has brought all important market news to you in one single newsletter, Market Insights. Market Insights provides a daily overview of what's happening in the indexes, bonds, gold, and more. Follow along with Tom daily as he analyzes the components that affect the overall movement of the stock market, giving insight into how each one plays either a bullish or bearish role. Tom also analyzes specific equities that he believes has the potential to make huge returns, and his track record proves his analysis right. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Don't let the market leave you in the dust.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter. A must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN. Educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, everyone. Jacob Shoup filling in for Tom O'Brien. This is just a little short segment. I had someone ask me to look at light. Just the Momentum Holdings. Now, these guys make lasers. Okay, so the optical amplifiers, passive components, modules, pump lasers, source lasers, photodiodes. Okay, so, honestly, this would probably be used a lot and correct me if I'm wrong, but I would not really heard of this company or looked at them regarding, I would suppose, telecommunications, right, with their optical lasers, and then most likely something to do with looking at semiconductors as well. It seems like they don't have a lot, at least, well, let me get off that chart. That might help a little bit. Wow. Was that moving on earnings, huh? That's a pretty good move up. Let's talk about it a little bit, okay? So they came out with the quarterly earnings of 0.06, 6 cents per share. This compares to the earnings of 59 cents per share a year ago, adjusted for non-recurring items. Okay, so that's definitely a loss in operations. This quarterly report represents an earnings surprise of 100%. A quarter ago, it was expected that this optical networking product maker would post earnings of 26 cents per share. I see. And it had 29 cents. Okay, so that's 11.5% roughly. Yeah. Okay, so that's probably what that jump was, right? Posted revenues of $308 million for the quarter. So is that what they're doing? Is that what they're doing, Jeff? For semiconductor testing and optics? That's interesting. I mean, listen, yeah, I mean, that's, it's maybe not enough time right now to see what the pattern's going to be, right? But I mean, that's some pretty strong volume to the upside there, right? I mean, you run a risk of, you have a red day after that, kind of makes sense, right? People like selling out if they bought down here, or whatever. Interesting. I'm going to look a little bit more at that company. Thanks for putting me onto that, Jeff. Folks, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a great week with you guys. Tom is going to be back Monday. I hope you all have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you then.